Okay, so we've got some more news and information that you can use, and we're going to be talking about the rescission bill. Remember, if you've been hanging out with me in the brownstone for a little bit, then you know exactly what the rescission bill is. But let's talk about what has happened in the past 24 hours that you need to know about, because remember, this is also crypto week. So we're going to be sharing some information, and I compiled some notes so we could talk about the rescission bill. You ready? Let's go. So the Senate GOP actually okays a $9 billion rescission package. And here's what it really means for you, the American people. What is a rescission anyway? So I wanted to try to put this in as simple as this terms as possible. So think of Congress handing out prepaid gift cards. And they say, here, you get a program, and you get a program, and you get a program. A rescission lets the president ask for those cards back before they're spent. Make sense? Okay. Now, under the 1974 Impoundment Control Act, Congress then has 45 days to say yes, or the money has to be released. Now, what happened? So at 2 o'clock this morning today, the Senate voted 51 to 48 to approve President Trump's request to claw back roughly $9 billion in already approved spending. Now, only two Republicans voted no, joining the Democrats. That was Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. And those senators tweaked the bill, saving $400 million for the PEPFAR HIV/AIDS program. It now bounces back to the House, which has to act by Friday, which is tomorrow, the 18th, or the money gets spent automatically. Now, where do these cuts land? Corporations for public broadcasting. These are children's shows. These are newsrooms, emergency alerts. Fewer programs are going to get out to those people who need it the most if this passes, right? So here's what happens. Rural sign coverage is at risk. News is at risk. Emergency alerts, and also additional programming that we're so used to seeing. PBS, NPR, those are the kinds of agencies that will lose their funding. Foreign aid and global programs. We're looking at UN agencies, WHO, refugee relief, USAID, food aid, disaster response. There's going to be slower disaster help, if at all, less vaccine and refugee support. That's what we're looking at. And PEPFAR, global HIV and AIDS, that was actually spared in this bill, life-saving HIV treatment, and the Senate preserved $400 million after a pushback. Now, let's talk about why this matters to you, the American people. Local news and kids TV on the chopping block, right? We've heard about this, and we didn't quite understand, but here we are again. Your favorite PBS station or NPR morning program could see layoffs or go dark, especially in small-town America that relies on public signals. A drop in the global bucket, a rise in global risk. Now, humanitarian cuts may look distant, but pandemics and refugee crises boomerang home, back here. Less U.S. aid equals more instability and higher costs later. Now, it also sets a new precedent. It's the first successful rescission in decades. Future presidents of either party may use this fast-track tool to bypass normal budget fights and slice programs unilaterally. Now, the symbol over savings, let's talk about that. $9 billion is 0.1% of the federal spending. Supporters call it fiscal discipline. Critics see political theater that chips away at public goods without denting the actual deficit that matters. So here's the other question that you should be asking yourself this morning. Is it going to stick? That's the other thing. House outlook. Speaker Mike Johnson urged senators to pass the original House bill as is. Because the Senate altered it, another House vote is required. If the House can't corral a majority by tomorrow night, all of the money is automatically unlocked. So the White House, Trump wants a signature victory on spending cuts before the August recess and has hinted at larger rescission rounds in the 2026 budget. So let's talk about the bottom line here, folks. The rescission packages won't cut cash, and it won't put cash back into your pocket next week. That's first. But it is going to reshape who gets information and aid and a voice at home and internationally. Like, many belt tightening messes or moves, its biggest effect may be what disappears quietly because we're asleep and we're not paying attention. Remember, we've talked about this before, right? Rural transmitter here, a transmitter there, a refugee clinic here, a refugee clinic there. The next generation's reading rainbow. Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book. The reading rainbow. What if that goes away for future generations? Let's talk about that. Stay alert, stay informed, and stick around for more from the Brownstone Brief, Brownstone Worldwide, and me, Paulette on the mic. We'll see you around.